Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video, I want to talk about side-by-sides, or in some parts of the country, UTVs. I think it's worth noting that they're really popular nowadays. They're taking over quads and ATVs and everything else because they are so maneuverable. They can carry more people, more cargo, and they are super comfortable. So I think it's worth talking about. And I want to tell you that about 5 years ago, I bought what I consider to be the best side-by-side available. So let's go outside and let's go check it out. Here we are, guys. Check this out. All right, I'm about to unveil what I consider to be the best side-by-side ever available. You guys ready for this? Yep, there she be. Oh, wait, I know. It's not actually a side-by-side. It's a Suzuki Sidekick. Yes, I completely understand. So before I get a whole bunch of comments and stuff like that, I need you guys to know a few things. This thing here is an absolute beast. I've gone through just about everything with this thing. It's been my plow vehicle for the last 5 years, and it's awesome. And before we get too far, I want to read out a couple of specs. I'm going to be using the 2020 Kawasaki Tyrex 4, and the reason I'm using that one as a side-by-side to compare this thing is because this thing also seats 4, and this seats actually 4 adults pretty comfortably, to be quite honest with you. So let's read those out. Okay, so let's begin with the overall length. I mean, the Tyrex 4 has an overall length of 125.4 inches, and this one here in comparison, 158 inches. I mean, tell me that's not close. And if I was to compare this to, let's say, a Polaris Ranger 4-seater, for example, or even a, for example, what else we have here that's really long out there? Oh, I know, a Wildcat 4, for example. That thing would be miles longer than this. And you got to remember too, this overall length is including the bumpers. So if we were to remove these bumpers that are on the back and on the front, I actually have a modified bumper on the front to be able to accept my winch. This thing gets even shorter. So let's move on. What else we have? This is a 94, by the way, just so you guys know. And I know, yes, there's going to be other comments. Well, what are you guys talking about? I mean, why, Rick, are you not talking about the Suzuki Samurai? Because that thing is awesome too. I completely agree with that. It's probably, in my opinion, better than the Sidekick, but this is what I was able to get my hands on about 5 years ago. Okay, so the overall width, check this out. This is where it gets really interesting. So the overall width of the 2020 Tyrex 4 is 61.6 inches. This thing here, with the mirrors, is 64.4. It's basically the same width. So that was one of the reasons why I chose this. Not to mention, this thing is street legal, guys. I can go down the road with this car. I can go from site to site. If I want to go from a trail to the highway to another trail, I don't have to worry about trailering this thing. I can actually trailer my ATV, which I used to do before, of course. Well, I mean, let's be quite frank. It's been off the road for quite some time now. It needs some love. But truth be told, I am actually going to be selling this, which is part of the video here too, is I'm going to be using the funds for this to fix up the Subaru and make the Subaru my overland vehicle for the next, well, who knows how long. Let's hopefully hope that it lasts about, let's say, 5 years like this thing's been lasting me. So the overall height, let's move on to that. The overall height of the Tyrex 4 is 79.7 inches, almost 80 inches tall. This thing is 66 inches. Now, granted, I've got a bigger set of tires, and I do have a 2-inch lift kit, suspension lift, by the way, which I would recommend doing if you guys are going to be building one of these to go off-road. The suspension lift is much better and quite easy to make. If you guys have any questions about that, send me a link or send me a comment, and I can give you some specs. I'm going to check out my seal out this door. That's crazy. But like I said, this thing's a tank. It just keeps on running. It runs mint. I've had to, this is a 5-speed, so I've had to rebuild the transmission. I was able to get an entire kit, all the synchros, all the bearings for about $600. I did it myself in the old garage. It was awesome. This engine, all I ever had to do to it was just do the valves, because it's a solid lifter valve train. So the valves were taken a little bit. Did that. Now let's get to the wheelbase, which is again really interesting. The wheelbase on the Tyrex 4 is 85.6 inches, which is not bad. And this one, the Sidekick, is sitting at 97.6. I mean, really not bad considering this is still within, I would say, the ballpark of being a side-by-side. And yeah, I know, guys, you guys are probably expecting me to come out with this nice new side-by-side for the channel. Eventually I want that, but not today. And lastly, the weight. Well, that's where the side-by-sides kind of win, right? I mean, let's be quite frank. This thing's a whole bunch of metal, lots of panels. We got an interior to deal with. We got heaters and wipers and radio, which again is actually the reason why I wanted one of these rather than a side-by-side, because when I plow in the winter and it's cold out, I'm not freezing. And if I want to go down the road, I've got wipers, and I've got a radio, and I've got heat, and I've got, you know, like the list goes on. The weight is 1,628 pounds full for the Tyrex 4, and the curb weight of this thing, believe it or not, is actually 2,800 pounds. It's pretty heavy for a little machine, but that's what's also really nice about it. That weight helps you get through some of those holes, gets right down to the bottom. Like if you got a good base in some of these mud holes, your tires do the job. They don't float around. But overall, this thing is really good. I love this thing. That's why I wanted to make a video of it. And I'm going to show you a couple of clips in between here about what I've done with this thing. But check this out. I mean, it does, like I said, it seats 4. I mean, the seats back here are perfect for the kids, but you can sit there as an adult. And if I was to do a recommendation though, guys, get the automatic. If you're going to be driving this thing at slow speeds, the automatic is definitely the way to go. But it does have high and low range, which is really nice when you're crawling down the trail. But high and low with an automatic would be the way to go. I can't say that enough. You would just be, because you're steady clutching, of course, and I have had to replace the clutch once, and I did that, of course, when I did the transmission repair. So what do you guys think of this paint job? I did this with a roller, and I had the girls go out with their hands and put some handprints all over the place just to kind of make it a little bit different. But let me know what you think, guys. Comment below. Appreciate you guys watching it, and see you next time.